This is a video breakdown of my Horizon project, existing of 12 recording sessions, an aspect ratio of 2.35, exported in 1080p, 60 fps, and existing of 37 shots in total. The song that I used was made by Really Slow Motion and Giant Apes called Two Suns, and this is my final thumbnail. And I will be explaining a few shots within the video that took a little bit more planning and that I got more creative with. So first thing that I did is I looked at some example videos on YouTube, similar cinematic videos of War Thunder. There was one that was made by Dark Productions, which I really like. So that was my main inspiration for this video. I then went to ChatGPT and I asked for some video ideas. I kind of already had one in my mind, so I added it into a prompt. It then wrote a script for me and kind of improved on it over a series of versions. I then eventually rewrote the script because I didn't feel like the original video was good enough, so I rewrote it. I then looked for a song, which was the one that I mentioned earlier. I added it into the timeline, and which is this one here. I also made a cut here as it became a little bit too long. I wanted it to be just close to 2 minutes and 30 seconds. What I did after that is I went and planned out a few shots like within the beats here. I then went and used text boxes to kind of match it here to beat sync it so that it would be easier and make like a template for me. It would then be easier for me to add in the shots later. So there's also some subcuts here for like any additional beats that was happening. So I added those. At some points here was a drop off, which I left blank as like a dramatic effect. And this was like the more action packed. So how this video is set up is that this would be section 1, which would be the establishing part, which is introducing some of the vehicles and everything that's used, landscape, the setting, everything. And section 2 was more of the action, and the ending of the song, which is here, which is the more intense part of the song. So this is a slight slowish part, hyping it up, and then the more intense shot, which was also magnified by this specific shot where the tank shoots in slow motion. I'll be explaining that later. I added like a couple of landscape shots. I kind of planned it out through here. I listened to the song over and over, kind of imagined what I might want to add here, which I then kind of typed out so that I would then know what to record when I went in game. I did it for most of them, but here was a bit of more of a time crunch because I came near the end of when my video was supposed to go live. This was a less planning, but it didn't take much. Some of the effects that I used were just basic color grading to make it a little bit more yellow, turned up the saturation, darkened the highlights, brought out some of the shadows, some of the color as well. For this specific shot, there's a beat here. I wanted to like break some interest into the video. I wanted to break with the beats. I then used one shot going across 2 beats, which was just a slow panning shot here of the blades, and as soon as the next beat starts, the blade starts spinning and powering on. The same thing was done here, where it was a calm bit and then there was a riser going up to the more intense spot. Here I marked it out with a marker here. I know exactly the next frame was then the tank shooting, which gave like a really nice dramatic action introduction into the action. Used the slow-mo here. I slowed down the footage just like a little bit so that it fit the slow-mo over this. Color is a little bit different here. Onwards, the color is different because I watched a video from the same person, Dark Productions, which he made a video how to make really nice cinematics, which I then watched. I implemented some of his techniques into here. Here is another shot that I should mention, which is there was a rapid beat set of beats here. So I initially thought I might do a bunch of tanks shooting each other in fast paced here, but I then looked at one of his videos where one of the vehicles are shooting with the beat. I thought that was a really cool effect and I wanted to break the beats again. I used one shot of the helicopter shooting the rockets, and here it was a little more silence because the song started quieting down. I then added the effect or the helicopter sound here so they would break some of the silence here, and I added a cut here which I then used some volume. I messed around with the volume here to stay at the same volume and make it smooth in, and this effect here was also used to kind of hide the abrupt cut of the song. Here is the title of the video, which is at the end. It was a slow zoom, which it slowly got closer, and I added in the credits, which this is the song that I used, and that is me, my YouTube channel name. So in summary, what I did is I just looked at some examples, I then planned it out, added in a template, got the song, added it here, beat synced everything, so it would be easier for me to add in all the shots which made editing much faster. I also color graded them. A lot of it is like the same color grading, but for some where there's more yellow than others, I had to change it a little bit, otherwise other shots would be more yellow. I used slow motion, panning shots, shots timed with the beat to make more of an impact.